If you've ever spent hours looping a video of a guitarist at half speed, getting frustrated because you just can't figure out where the guitarist is placing his fingers on the neck, then I completely feel your pain. Years ago, I would do the same thing when I was transcribing a song or a solo, and it usually just meant me spending more time on the transcription than playing. But all that changed when I learned this way of working within Guitar Pro that really changed the way that I transcribed and sped up the whole entire process. So today I'm going to show you the exact routine that I use inside Guitar Pro 8 that cut my practice and transcription time in half and helped me to develop the discipline necessary to master even the toughest of solos. If you don't have the software yet and you'd like to follow along exactly with the routine I'm going to be showing you today, I've placed my affiliate link for Guitar Pro 8 right at the top of the description down below. But for now, let's jump into step 1. Okay, so we're here inside of Guitar Pro 8 with an empty project, and step 1 for me is just going to be set up the project, but beyond that, set up the audio track sync with your reference. And all that really means is just to import the song that you're transcribing right into Guitar Pro. So that way, when you write your tabs out and your sheet music, it syncs up perfectly with the music. And the point of this first step is to address accuracy, because you can't really learn a song or a solo if you don't have the right notes to learn. And the great thing about this is that in Guitar Pro it just couldn't be any simpler. So the first thing that we're going to do here is to just import an audio track into Guitar Pro 8, and I've chosen one of my band's own songs called Hypergravity Genesis just to serve as an example, so you can see how all this works. The great thing is that it's really just a matter of dragging and dropping the song into Guitar Pro 8, and right there it pops up. And this right here is the audio track sync interface that pops up right as you import the song into Guitar Pro 8. And all that this does is just help us line up the metronome to the beats in the song. So if we look at this from left to right, this is going to represent, like in any regular DAW, time in our song, how it passes, right? But if we press play, you'll hear that the click is out of sync. Right, so let's fix that. First thing we have to do is to create a few new bars. So that way we're working within what we want to actually transcribe. For this example, I'm just going to be using the first 4 bars of my band's song so you can see how it works. And now that we have our 4 bars created, we just need to line up the metronome with the song. Now, I know the tempo of the song, but if you didn't, all that you have to do is basically drag these little lines with these black arrows on them, which represent the start of each bar of the 4 bars that we were working on here. And I know that this part here is like the 4 beat on the first measure. So I'm just going to click that line and drag it all the way down here. So I'm just going to line up the bars so they match up with the song. Okay, cool. So that's lining up pretty good, I think. And now that we have it lined up, we can actually start transcribing. And the easiest way for me to input notes here is to just use the fretboard view, which I find is super helpful, because basically it's just inputting the notes in a way that's very natural to me. It's just inputting notes almost on the neck pretty much. So I know that this song starts with these 8 notes here, so I'm just going to input that real quick. And once we have that passage, it just loops again. So I'm just gonna copy paste here again. Okay, cool. And for this next bar again, I can just copy paste this. Copy paste really is your best friend in Guitar Pro. It's very useful for speeding up your workflow if there's anything that loops like this. So over here, we just do these 2 chords. And then I'm just gonna put the hammer-ons and pull-off, which is just a matter of highlighting the notes which are hammered on and pulled off and just pressing H. That's pretty much that. And then the next 2 bars, they just repeat. So I'm just gonna, again, copy paste over here, force break a line here, and force another break line here, so everything just looks okay. Since I know the tempo of the song, I'm going to just put it here as well. Great, so we have those first 4 bars down. All right, let me fix this real quick. Now we're talking. Okay, so it should be more aligned now. The great thing is also that we can just solo, mute, and level tracks as necessary, just to make sure that the transcription is precise and accurate to the original song, which is really important here. So that's step one of your transcription. You're going to first transcribe it or input the notes as necessary. But what if you still don't have that riff down and you like that riff, but you want to get it up to speed and you can only play it slowly? Well, Guitar Pro is really great here too, because it has a built-in systematic speed trainer, which I really love. And that would be step two here, to bring your transcription and what you're practicing up to speed. So how do we achieve this in Guitar Pro 8? So let's say that you learned this passage, but you're struggling with this bar right here. We're going to highlight it, and then we're going to go to this button, which says relative speed over here on the arrows. And now what you're going to want to do is that you're going to want to set a custom value. Guitar Pro here offers a few options which are really great. But I find that the best thing that you could do is loop a routine that works in a specific way. So we're going to create a custom value here. And we're going to go here for progressive speed, the progressive speed setting. And like it says there, what it does is that the speed will increase from start value step by step on each loop until the end value, which is exactly what we want when we want to bring a riff or a solo up to speed, up to tempo, you know? So let's pick that right here. And I would suggest to start at the bare minimum at like 60% starting off. Some really difficult passages, you might have to go lower. You may find that it's happened to me that I've been trying to learn a really impossible solo and I have to go down to like even like 40% or something, just to make sure that I can play it really cleanly. Because from there, as long as you can play it cleanly, then you can just use the repetitions and this progressive speed trainer to bring it up to speed. And for the step here, like how much percentage is going to increase the tempo, I would suggest to do something like maybe 5% at most, maybe even less, but let's go for 5% just for demonstration purposes. And for the repetitions, I would try at least 3 to 5 times. The idea being that if you can play at least 3 or 5 times cleanly, consecutively, without any errors, then you're ready to go to the next step in tempo. So I'm going to just put 3 repetitions here, just so you can see how it works. And now you'll see that these buttons over here change to a blue color to tell you that the speed trainer is ready to go. So now it's just a matter of hitting play. So let's see how it sounds. There it increased tempo. Then it increases tempo again, and so on and so forth. You get the idea there. And just using that progressive speed trainer that Guitar Pro has built in, you'll already be way ahead of the curve there, and that will help you a lot to get speed up on whatever riff or solo you're learning. I know it's helped me a bunch, so I really recommend you try it out. But the great thing about this is that you don't have to stop there. Once you have that riff or solo down, you can go a bit beyond just playing it and understand what's actually going on in the riff or the solo. And the idea with this step is to go from blind repetition to actually understanding what's going on the neck and in the music in general on a deeper level. And there are a few tools here in Guitar Pro that can help you go deeper with your understanding of what you're learning and transcribing. So the first tool I'm going to show you here, you've already kind of seen me playing around with it, is the fretboard view. And the great thing about this is that you can see how the lick or the riff plays out on the neck instead of just seeing numbers, which is really great because the guitar is not just about the number of frets, it's also about the shapes of what you're playing and seeing where exactly it lands on the neck. So it's really great that you have the fretboard visualizer, not just to input notes, but also to understand how that lick or that riff looks like on the neck even before being able to play it. If I just go here and play that example again, you'll see that it plays out on the fretboard view. So that's super helpful for understanding that lick and that riff a bit better than just looking at tabs. It's even a bit faster than tabs sometimes. So it's a really great way of visualizing that. And it doesn't have to stop there again, because you can activate actual scale diagrams in the fretboard view, and you can actually look at the scale that the song is in all throughout the neck, and you can see how the notes land inside of the scale or outside of the scale by using that scale diagram in the fretboard visualizer. So the way that you do that is that you press on this little wrench option button over here, and then where it says scale, you turn it on. Now I had it set to A flat major for another project, but this song is in E major. So the way that we do that is that we just pick the major scale over here, and then we look for the keynote or the root note, which in this case would be E, and it automatically reflects that on the fretboard viewer. So if we press play again, you'll see how the notes land not just on the fretboard itself, but also like within the scale of E major. So let's see that real quick. So that's another really cool tool that'll help you go deeper with whatever you're learning in Guitar Pro 8. It's super useful for understanding it on a more musical level, not just learning the riff or the lick. And the final tool that I'm going to show you here to help you go a bit deeper with whatever you're learning on Guitar Pro is called automatic finger positions. And as you know, on the guitar, you can play something in multiple different ways across the neck. And Guitar Pro has a great function for automatically being able to do that and help you see how the riff or the lick looks like across another string, for example. And the great thing is that it's super simple to do. So what you're going to do here is, for example, if we have this bar over here, you're going to highlight it. If we want to see how this looks like on another string, another way of playing that, then we just hold down the Alt key and press the down or up keys, in this the down key, so we can like look at it. For example, what if these taps were in the second string? Then I'll just do Alt down and it'll look like that. Looks like that. It's really cool, and we can even go deeper and just keep going down strings to see how it looks. You know, even on the 6th string, if we want, you'll have to find the 26th fret guitar, which is a bit tough, but not impossible. But yeah, and again, we can just go Alt up to place it where it was. So that's super useful for finding inversions and other ways of playing the same thing, which might be more practical in certain different musical situation. And it's a bit of a shortcut, which I really highly recommend you try out sometime if you're transcribing or just learning something in Guitar Pro 8. So to wrap things up, mastering a guitar solo or a riff isn't about mindlessly repeating it until your fingers bleed. It's about breaking it down systematically, developing a system that actually helps you get that lick or solo up to tempo and master that solo. By employing the strategies and tools that I've given you in this video, you'll completely eliminate the guesswork out of your practice sessions. So instead of fighting against low quality or blurry YouTube videos, I want to challenge you to take this 3-step transcription routine and apply it to your own playing today, so you can finally smash through your current guitar practice plateau and go from intermediate to advanced. Because transcription is definitely one of the most important ways of getting there. And Guitar Pro 8 is pretty much my favorite tool to get there and to do that. Now, if you want to make sense of the neck even faster while you run this exact routine I've given you, I've put together a free guide for you called 3 Steps to Fretboard Mastery. You'll learn my exact strategy for not just learning how the case system works, but how to go beyond the case system and use that to see absolutely everything across the neck, not just the 5 basic chords that we all know, and through that develop absolute fretboard fluency. It's designed to pair perfectly with everything that we've talked about in this video to unlock the entire guitar fretboard for you. So if that interests you at all, you can download it at the link in the description down below. And until next time, keep practicing.